it's Gojira Prime with a little video, and today I want to just go over the toy reveals that came out early this morning and were then shown officially on the Hasbro Pulse Con show. But first, before I do any of that, I do have a Facebook page, Gojira Prime, where I do post images of the figures in my collection, links to any videos I do, and anything else I find of interest. So if you do have the time, do please find the page, hit like, hit subscribe, and feel free to comment on anything that I do post. So let's take a look and see what was shown. There's a couple of posts here on the Transformers Facebook page, which we'll run through. So the first image we have here is of Onyx Prime, which I think, to be honest, was probably the star of the show. A massive leader class triple changing figure, which is the big guy here in the middle. We then have Micronus Prime here in his exosuit, and I believe it's pronounced Venom or Vinim, depending on your pronunciation. One of, well, actually the final Deluxe Insecticon, from Transformers Generation 1. I do have the Kickback to go with him. I just don't have the other two, which were in a double pack, which I did miss out on for some reason. So there's Onyx Prime in his box, and you can see here you've got his robot mode here, with his massive staff, Centaur mode, and then he does have like a third six-legged flying monster mode as well. I have to admit, this does look really, really nice, and although I've said before, I'm not really looking to get the Prime figures, this one I am really tempted to get when it does come out officially. I've not put it on pre-order. I have done some pre-orders, but I've not pre-ordered this guy. If I'm going to get him, I'll get him when he actually comes out in stores. Then we have Alpha Trion. In all honesty, this looks more like A3 than Alpha Trion. For those of you who are familiar with the original G1 cartoon, A3 was the original name for Alpha Trion. A3 Alpha Trion. And this is kind of like how he appeared in the episode when you do see him as his younger self. He comes with the Covenant of Primus and his quill, and he turns into some weird hover flying jet thingy. I don't know. The vehicle mode's not the greatest in the world, in my honest opinion, but the robot mode is very, very accurate to what Alpha Trion did look like in his youth. I maybe would have liked to have seen something more in kin with the aligned images like Onyx Prime. The Onyx Prime figure I just showed is very, very accurate to the aligned continuity version of the character. This is more of a G1 thing. Then we have Flatline. I have to be honest, I knew nothing about Flatline when I saw the images of him this morning. I had to do a little bit of research, and it turns out he is a character from the IDW original run, and he's a repaint and a slight remold of the recent Age of the Primes Armada Red Alert. Don't get me wrong, I think this figure looks great in black and red, but it's not a character I have any real interest in. So this one is going to be a definite pass from me. Then we get on to the aerial bots. And first off, we have Fireflight, who transforms into I believe it's an F4 jet fighter. This one I have pre-ordered. The aerial bots were so hard to get when they came out. It took me quite a while to find Slingshot, and I had Silverbolt on pre-order through Amazon Prime, and I can see people rolling their eyes now when I said that, but he did come out on pre-order on Smiths here in the UK, so I have pre-ordered him now from Smiths. Again, very nice figure, and I did like the look of the vehicle mode as well. But as with all the aerial bots, once I do get them, they're just going straight into Combine mode, straight into Superion mode, and then that's going to be them on the shelf in that mode permanently. We then have his counterparts, Skydive. I think Skydive is meant to be an F-16. Or maybe, yeah, he's meant to be an F-16. Again, figure looks very, very nice. The jet mode's okay too. But again, this guy will be going into Superion mode as soon as I've gotten him and done a few pictures of him when I get him out of the box. So he's another pre-order that I have made sure I got in straight away. I did all my pre-orders through Kapow Toys. Um, they're always very, very good. But you know, it's like with all these things, you've got to get there before everyone else does, unfortunately. And then we're back to Venom here. You can see him there in his robot mode. I'm not sure what the insect mode is. I'd have to look that one up. I actually quite like the look of this guy. I really, really do. And I'm half tempted to get him when he does actually come out in shops. I've not pre-ordered him, but I am tempted to get him. But I would want the full set of Insecticons, and I'd have to try and track down that double pack. And I have a funny feeling that would cost me an arm and a leg at this point to get a hold of. But again, it's a very nice figure. I like the bug mode. I like the robot mode. I might pick this guy up when he hits the shelves. And then we've got Micronus Prime, and Micronus is an interesting one to say the least. He's actually got 3 modes, and for a deluxe figure, that's really quite impressive. So, mode 1 is you have this little disc, which is this thing here, which is Micronus himself. He turns into like a disc, which then gets inserted into the body of the walker, or the mech suit. And this mech suit also turns into the one-wheeled motorcycle, which Micronus himself can then ride. So you essentially got a triple changer for less than £30, which I think is really, really good. I really do like how they have done Micronus here. I was like wondering how they would do it. So these 2 primes, although I've not been impressed with Primer or Solaris or Alpha Trion, I did think Megatronus was good. I've liked Onyx, and I've liked this one. So there are it's hit and miss with the primes for me, but I am liking what I'm seeing with Micronus and with Onyx. And then we have the Generation 2 Dinobots double pack, and in this you are getting Snarl and, well, they call him Slug, but I'm always going to call him Slag, in their original G2 colors. Given the fact that a leader class figure is about what, 109 is about £55, so you're probably looking somewhere about £100 or a little bit more for these. I haven't checked out the prices for this box set because it's not what I'm interested in getting. I already have the Dinobots from the SS line, and I'm more than happy with that. I don't need to double up on G2 figures. So that's that particular gallery there. And then we have another one. Actually, that was it. That's the Dinobots there as well. You can see them there. And then we've got a few more up here. So a couple of Amazon exclusive packs are also coming out. One for Age of the Primes and one for the Studio Series. The first pack, and I believe these are Amazon exclusives as well from what I've seen in the live stream. The first pack is Sandstorm with a more accurate cartoon face. And then this is a reissue, obviously. And then we have the Slugslinger figure from the Titans Returns line. They're really bringing back the Titans Returns figures in quite a way. I think this is the 3rd or 4th. No, maybe the 4th figure they've brought back from Titans Return. Which is Slugslinger. So he's just a slightly darker blue, I think, and than what his original color was. This isn't a set I'm particularly interested in getting. If I was going to get the Target Masters, and Slugslinger was a Target Master, then I would get, I want them to be Target Masters. I don't want them to be Headmasters. Sandstorm is quite nice. I would like to get Sandstorm for my Generation 1 collection, but the standalone figure has been coming down in price a lot recently. So if I can get a good deal of him, less than £40, I'd be a happy bunny. And there he is in his helicopter mode. And that's the box set. I don't know why they've paired these two up. It's part of the Wreck and Doom collection. All right, that explains why. Because Sandstorm was a Wrecker. I'm guessing Slugslinger was a part of the opposing team, the Decepticon version of the Wreckers. I don't know a lot about them. And then we have a Bayverse film set from Revenge of the Fallen. We have Megatron, Soundwave in his satellite mode, and then we have the Fallen himself. I'm not sure if these are... I think these are just straight up re-releases of the original figures from... Jesus, we're talking, what, 20 years ago now? No, not 15 years ago, maybe? Something like a little over... It's been a while, anyway. The Fallen appears to be in... I'm not sure if these are more... It's been a while since I've seen the film, but these might be more movie-accurate colours. I'm not sure about the bristles on his face. But, you know, if you're a Bayverse fan and you've not already got these figures, this is probably going to be something you are interested in. For me, I'm not really collecting Bayverse. In fact, I'm actually thinking about selling my Bayverse collection. This will be something of interest to you. And then you've got the box art, which I have to admit is actually quite nice. So it's 17 steps for the Fallen, 32 steps for Megatron, 10 steps for Soundwave. And that's it, really. That was the whole thing from the live stream. Now, I have to admit, there's not a lot on there that I'm particularly interested in. Like I say, I've pre-ordered the 2 aerial bots. I may get Onyx and my Cronus. They do interest me a little bit. Not interested in the G2 stuff. Not interested in these Amazon exclusives. So in some ways, it's a good thing for me because I'm only getting what I really want to get for my collection. But hey, let me know in the comments section. Is there anything in these releases that interests you in any way, shape, or form? Or is it all a complete miss for you? Do let me know in the comments section. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And enjoy the rest of your day.